This is killing me. Is it going? Hey everybody, it's Brad.
And I'm Christa.
And the crowd is wild. They throw things and there's knives and spatulas.
Don't throw things. Don't throw things.
Okay, so Mama is going to be making something that makes my belly very happy.
Not just your belly, my belly.
My
very
belly.
happy.
My
Very
belly,
happy.
belly. We should have a belly dance.
Oh no.
Not that kind.
Crying out loud.
No, like a
No.
belly.
No.
No?
You're nuts.
Well, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But we have been perfecting over the years Alice Springs chicken copycat recipe from the Outback.
Yes.
And if you have never been, it is delicious and delightful and all around awesome.
All around awesome.
And so, actually, for those of you who know the channel, you know that we usually have an intro and all that kind of stuff. Our internet here decided to say bye-bye.
Yeah, it totally did.
Oven's ready.
Yeah, the oven's ready.
So we're going to have to do this a lot differently than we normally do.
Right.
Which means it's going straight to YouTube through the camera and straight to Facebook through the camera. And so hopefully we can talk loud enough and
Right.
yada yada.
Hopefully you guys can hear me. Oh, that looks really bad.
Well, it is what it is. We can't get over that.
Yeah.
So, hello to SM, hello Kate, hello Mama Tried, hello to Wild Onions, Oneida, SM, Alicia, Crying Eyes, and Fab 4 Gal. So there you go. Why do they call it Alice Springs chicken? I think it just sounds cool. It sounds outbacky.
I think it's an Outback thing. It's an Outback recipe, and maybe it's a place.
It could very well be.
It could be a place. But this has been, we've gone to Outback for probably the last, 20 years?
And they don't have one here now.
They don't have one close by. It is, in Minneapolis? Yeah, it's in Minneapolis.
Is the closest
it's
one.
3.5 hours for us. So I had,
We've
over the
perfected
last 4 or 5 years, I've had to perfect this recipe so that I could actually have Alice Springs chicken. Cheaper than it at the Outback.
Yeah, I mean describe the Alice Springs chicken, because it'll make your mouth water.
It is at the Outback. They use a butterflied chicken breast, grilled with seasoned with salt, pepper, and olive oil or oil, whatever. I don't know what kind of oil they use.
It's oily.
It is oily,
maybe
but
it's
a plain grilled piece of chicken, right? Then they have sautéed onions, crumbled bacon,
And
cheese,
a honey mustard.
and then a honey mustard dressing that goes on top.
It's silly.
It's silly good. So we've kind of tweaked it a bit. Occasionally, I will put sautéed onions and mushrooms for myself on a piece to the side, because everybody they don't like it. They don't like the mushrooms. Anyway. They like the onions, but not the mushrooms. And then I will, what else will I do? Oh, I have tweaked the honey mustard dressing.
Oh, she's made this into a science, guys.
Yeah.
If you like honey mustard, try this, because you will not go back to, I don't care where it is. You know, we've had honey mustard everywhere from Outback to who's a BW3s. But for you guys who don't know, that's Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
It's like kind of a code name.
Right. I've changed one of their recipes for the garlic parmesan, and it's
silly good.
Silly good, yeah.
So, but we'll have to take a little more time explaining the ingredients, because we did not have the normal screens that we have.
Exactly.
But
so
when this video is done, I will post the recipe in the video description.
Right. Right.
So if you want, come back and it'll be there.
Right. So we're going to go ahead and start with our bacon. I'm going to go ahead and get that into a 400-degree oven. And I use about a half a pound. Now, our bacon we grew it ourselves and then had it processed. And this one particular package had 4 slices of bacon.
Look at that. To give you an idea, I've got big hands, guys.
Right. These are big, honking pieces of bacon.
And they are seriously...
They're quarter-inch thick.
They're probably, honestly, doggone near a quarter-inch thick.
Yeah, they're thick pieces. So I will bake these. Baking bacon is so easy.
And it's much...
it's much faster.
Yeah.
You can do so many other things while this is baking, and it's nice and crisp. So I will go ahead and put this in a 400-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how crisp I want it.
I prefer it a little more crisp for this kind of thing.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
So Jean is doing the bacon dance, and I'm with you, Jean. Bacon dance, bacon dance, bacon dance.
So, okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and slice our onions and get those ready for the skillet.
So how many onions are you going to slice?
I have 3 onions. I like to use like 2 whole large ones. I need a trash bowl.
Yeah.
You know, there's something that I don't like having trash on the counter. It's one of those things that just drives me nuts. So I have a bowl or something to put all my garbage in. I know it's a Rachel Ray thing. She does that same thing too. But
Alicia says, I've never been to Outback because I've never been able to eat steak or meat that's not ground. Oh,
well,
that's terrible.
Yeah,
that's a horrible thing.
Sorry about that.
They actually have really, really, you know, when it comes to chain restaurants, there are some that you know wherever you go, they're going to be good. And the company that owns the Outback chain, they also own Macaroni Grill, and they also own Carrabba's.
Yes.
And I think they might own one more, but doggone if they're not really just
I
good.
think it's a Mexican, like Tex-Mex style place,
Yeah, I think so.
but I can't remember. We never had one nearby us, so.
Well, there's a few people over there on Facebook too.
Yep, there. Tracy is watching, Melissa, and Cindy Morgan.
All right. We like Texas Steakhouse. There's a Texas Roadhouse here.
Yeah.
And they're very similar, but they're good.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because they give you these big buckets of peanuts as you come in, and you can just throw them on the ground.
Right.
That's so weird to me. Like you peanut shell and then you throw them on the ground.
I won't do it. Our kids won't do it either, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, but I just, you know, I know that there's so many people with allergies. I cannot imagine somebody walking into a restaurant not knowing, and then there's people throwing peanut shells on the ground.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I just got the outer skin off of the onion, and I'm just gonna do a thick slice. I will cut it halfway down the middle like this. So you've got your rings here. I cut it in half, and then I just do thick slices.
Hey Phoebe, we're making Alice Springs copycat recipe from the Outback today.
Your eyes are starting
I know,
to
they're going. They're going. Yep. And by the way, if you are interested in a hard copy, well, you'll have to print it yourself. But we sell a copy of our cookbook, and this is in that cookbook, and it's down below.
Yeah. All right. So I have my cast iron pan heating up already, and so I'm gonna put a half a stick of butter in there. I know that's a lot of butter, but
Ooh, my gracious, baby. Tell you what, I'm gonna sneak around the side of the cameras. I'm gonna turn that fan on.
it'll be done here in a minute. But
let me get it going.
so I got a half a stick of butter. I'm gonna put it in this pan over here, and with just a touch of oil, so it doesn't smoke at all, like it already is.
And we use the grapeseed oil.
I love grapeseed oil. May I have a wooden spoon?
You may.
I forgot to grab that. Thanks.
Our signal just got way worse. Just on one thing. That's weird.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know what? It might be interference with the fan, but
You can shut it off.
I'll shut it off. I'll shut it off.
All right.
People like the
Turn that
catfish
down
there.
to a medium. The catfish at Outback?
I've never had catfish
I've never, you know what though? The one thing that I do like getting from the Outback now is their bourbon bacon salmon.
It's delightful.
It has just this bourbon sauce on it that is delightful. So, because the last time I actually tried to get Alice Springs chicken from there one time, and so did our son David. We went with him one time when he was home from leave or on leave.
Yep.
And he said, "Mom, this is not good. This
It was
is
not as good."
nearly as good as the one you make."
Yeah.
So I was really happy about that.
Yeah.
All right, so I broke up all these onions. I'm sorry you can't see where we're at over here.
We'll do our best.
Yeah.
Fab Four Girl. Would Brad be open to cooking for us one day? Yeah.
Yeah, you can make some
I could
dude
do that.
food.
I make dude food.
Right.
Actually, no. There's a running joke. Would you say it's fair to say that I'm a pretty good cook?
You're an excellent cook, honey. You really are. He makes a lot of great things. when I stay out of the kitchen.
Or when I can force her out of the kitchen.
Right, right.
No, but there's this one time that Mama wasn't around, and I just was exhausted, and I just raided the kitchen for everything that I thought would go together. It was like, start with hamburger helper, copycat, then add in this, then add in that, and it was just, it ended up this mess of glop.
Yeah.
And it was really a horrible idea of mine, and horribly executed, and the kids smiled and grudgingly ate it.
It was awful.
And it was awful. And they ended up saying that's Dad's dude food.
Right, right.
Just grab whatever's in there and
Right.
blah, 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 blah.
Right. So I put 2 big pinches, not big, but 2 pinches of salt on the onions and gave them a good stir. So I'll let those cook down on a medium heat. Now I've got the chicken, and Outback uses chicken breasts. I have got this to where I actually really like the thighs better than the chicken breasts.
There's more flavor.
There's a lot more flavor.
And they're cheaper.
And they are cheaper. I got this package of chicken thighs from Aldi.
Mm-hmm.
$6 for the package, and there's 6 thighs in there, so it's $1 a thigh.
Let's see if I can show.
Here.
Like such a one without dumping it right onto the floor.
Yeah, let's not do that.
But yeah, they're nice and thick. They're
Nice
good.
and thick,
Good
good
inch and a
size.
half, maybe the thickest part. Not
Right.
that one. This one.
No, yeah, but it's, it's a smaller portion than the open, the butterfly chicken breast. Nobody needs to have that much meat in their meal. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Our kids should not have that
And
much
all the
meat.
people with keto diets just scream.
Sorry.
Don't do it.
I gotta wash
I need my meat.
my hands. I got
Let's
chicken
see.
meat on my hands.
All right. Thighs don't dry out as well. You're
Yeah,
right.
you're right.
Jean, you're
That's-
right. You're absolutely right. And yeah, other folks are saying they like the taste.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm a vegan, but still watching you cooking. Cheap chirping. Thank you. We get so much shtick from vegans,
Oh, I know.
and well, it's very nice to find one that's nice to us.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you.
Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just season this with some salt and pepper. And I forgot my pepper.
All right.
And then I'm going to just run a little bit of oil all over these so that way they don't stick.
There's a new channel, or at least a channel that I have not noticed before.
Yeah.
Eyes to See Ministries,
Oh, cool.
and making sausage while watching.
Oh, very cool.
Cool. Well, welcome. Hello, Brad and Krista. That's Deborah.
Oh, hey, Deborah.
Hi, Deborah. Thank you, Cheap Chirping. Cheap Chirping, and she's got a cute icon too. I'm assuming.
Oh, that's cute.
You could be a dude. I don't know. I'm just assuming by the. That would not be a very manly icon, I think.
Probably not.
It's cute.
Right.
So what else you got
All
going
right,
on there,
so
baby?
I salted and peppered both sides, and I'm just gonna slather some oil all over these, and then
She's a slathering.
that way they don't stick, and it just gives them it's really nice. I like it with the oil on it. And I'll put a
Okay.
little bit of butter in the pan for that butter flavor.
Oh yeah.
Now, a lot of times we grill these outside, and that's really yummy. We really like that.
Oh yeah. This is a great meal when you're just, out over the campfire too.
Yeah.
Because we do that when the summer comes. If we have good reception, we'll actually do some of these videos outside.
Yeah.
We'll do some over a campfire. Yeah. Okay. Paul Bain Jr. says, I can eat a little more freely because moringa lowers my blood sugar being a diabetic.
That's awesome.
Praise God. That is awesome. And you know what? We hear that a lot from a lot of folks. I'm just blessed that we found it because I was literally disabled in every aspect of the word. I couldn't move around without the medicine that they took away from me. And so when I found the moringa, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to share this.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just putting these in the skillet to cook through.
Now, are you planning on cooking them the whole way through?
I probably will stick this pan in the oven.
So you're just really searing.
I'm searing them.
Okay.
Because I've already got my oven on, and I'll go ahead and throw them in the oven in a few minutes.
Gloria Percante says that she's agreeing with Paul Bateman about her blood sugar too.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Okay, I'm going to get to a few questions.
While you're sizzling. You're sizzling hot, baby.
On Facebook. Lisa's asking if this is Christa's Fancy Bacon Chicken, and yes, it is.
It is.
Is in the cookbook. And the description, the link to the cookbook is in the description
Of the
of
video.
the live video on YouTube. So,
Someone was asking me, Mim was asking, is it hard to cook over a fire? There are techniques.
yeah.
There are techniques, and the real trick is getting the heat to stay where you want it in terms of a consistent heat. So
Right.
you kind of got to know how to feed the fire
Right.
and where you're going to want coals to be. But it's I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's definitely something you got to learn.
Right.
You know, it's not just you can't approach it the same way you do it inside.
Oh, funny.
What's that?
Phoebe said she moved over to Facebook because the sound is better.
Really?
That's strange.
The cameras are in the exact same spot.
Well, and they're not identical cameras. I have a 7 and you have a 10.
Yeah? That's all right, baby.
Yeah.
You are a 10.
Oh, ha, ha, ha.
Come on, girlfriend. Thank you guys for Family Friendly Channel and Christian Outlook. Bait Max, it's the only way to fly, baby.
Yeah.
It's the only way to fly.
Alright, so I'm just cooking these a couple minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes on each side.
Woo, sizzling.
Yeah,
Get those edges.
yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll stick this in the oven in a couple of minutes. That way it'll finish cooking them through, because you don't want raw meat. Trust me, it's no
Wow.
good.
There's another Moringa comment from Fab4 Girl. I have literally been able to get up out of bed and walk normally since I began taking Moringa in my smoothies.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. That's
That's
so
wonderful.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. Michelle is baking while she's
Awesome.
multitasking.
What is Michelle baking? I'm curious.
Yeah, what are you baking, Michelle? Kelly Schlosser says, I want that apron.
Oh, well, this is a one of a kind, actually.
Yeah.
I think Lisa made just one. But a friend of ours in Kentucky made this for us.
And every once in a while, she comes onto the live chat, so her name is Lisa Park.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What's going to happen after that? So you're still working on the onions.
Right. The onions are going, they're a slow thing. That's why I start those first.
Oh, Lisa is here. There
Oh,
she
hey,
is.
Lisa. Hey,
So-
Linda. Linda's here. She's watching on Facebook.
Who, Linda?
Our friend Linda. In New York, Linda.
Oh. Oh.
She has an awesome blog. Anyway.
Yeah. Hi.
Linda 360. It's on Facebook.
Cool. Lisa's here.
Hey, Lisa.
So, Lisa, if people want to buy one of these things from you, how do they get in touch?
Right, right.
They're only $450 a piece.
There you go.
No, I'm kidding.
There you
I
go.
don't know. No idea. Michelle is making brownies, peanut butter cookies, and caramel corn.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds delightful.
Yum. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw these in the oven now.
You
Not
could
literally.
probably just place them.
Yeah, I was going to say, not literally. I will
Don't
put
forget
them
about
in.
your bacon, baby.
I will not. I forgot to set the timer. And we are close to being done, too.
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right.
That chicken will smell like that bacon, though.
That'll be great.
Yes.
You know, I love that sizzle, but it's much quieter now.
Yeah.
So now here's another thing too. I personally think that chicken is a lot better when it's grilled.
I do too.
I do.
But we can't grill in the house. 'Cause
You
we
know,
don't
maybe we
have-
get one of them fancy Dan center console things with the hood and all that. But
Right,
who's got
it's
like
expensive.
$5,000 for that?
No, it's expensive.
Oh, this is the Michelle that makes the dryer balls. Cool.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Well, hello,
I still
Michelle.
use
She
our.
uses them all the time.
Okay, here's a funny thing. I always have to hunt them down because the kids have their individual clothes in the wash and then they go into the dryer with the dryer balls. Well, they disappear every week. So I have to hunt them down. Okay, who's got the dryer balls?
Wow.
Who didn't put their laundry away yet? So it's really, it's a scavenger hunt every week.
Richie Blythe says Moringa has made it possible to work. Should be in everyone's water. Thank you so much. And man, I'll tell you what, we're just blessed. I can't tell you how many folks that will email and say that now they used to have to just sit on the couch all day, couldn't do anything, and now they can play with their grandkids or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's just such a blessing. So thank you guys for sharing.
Yeah, it is. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and make the sauce.
Ooh,
Because
saucy.
as of right now, we're almost done. I mean, those are cooking in the oven. The onions are cooking, so it's just the sauce that's left. So we need what?
There's a comment. Miss Lisa apologizing. I stepped away from my computer. She's watching at work.
Oh, shh, I won't tell
Is
her.
this Christa's fancy bacon chicken?
Yes.
It is. And now she's making the sauce.
I'm making the honey mustard dressing. And if you guys have not seen these are awesome. I absolutely love these things.
For
So,
measuring like
for measuring
liquids and gloopies.
Oh, honey, peanut butter, mayonnaise. You always have to scrape it out with a spatula. This just makes that go away. Okay, so I always double the recipe. Should I double the recipe? Because our kids use it. We dip pretzels in
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah,
We dip
go
chicken in
for
it.
it.
We use it for everything.
Go
So I'm
for
going
it,
to go ahead
baby.
and double the recipe.
And besides, I need to eat pretty well for the rest of the week because Monday I'm going on a diet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that soup, the peel a pound soup, and I've done it in the past. And when I did it in the past, I lost 15 pounds a week.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna eat like a king now because tomorrow we die.
Not tomorrow, Monday.
Eat, drink, and be merry, for
Right.
tomorrow we die.
Okay, so I've got 1 cup of mayonnaise going into a bowl here.
Ooh, pop.
Right, that's what I love about it. It just plops right out, and I only scrape the bottom here. Then I need, give me mayonnaise.
And that's the only way to go. Right here. I know there's a big war on between Dukes and Hellmans.
It's really okay.
We fought the Dukes-Hellmans battle for a long time, and Hellmans has taken the
No
cake.
one's won. We used Dukes for a long time, but nope.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, I think Hellmans in the past 5 years has changed their recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Because it really, really, it's amazing.
Right.
Let's see, BHH here is 15 pounds a week. What is this soup of which you speak of?
We probably should
We're
do
gonna
that
make
as
a
the
video.
next Sunday, or next Thursday.
I'll probably make it early so that people can, if they want to try it out, we might do it like Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
But it's really a delicious soup. It's like a lot of cabbage, a lot of tomatoes. There's peppers in there, and it's just really good.
Right. I think this bacon's done. Yep. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
careful!
spill the grease.
Yeah, not into the open flames, baby.
Yeah, let's not.
This could be a very exciting show. All right. You want to look over there, see if there's anybody over there?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna get this off here and put it on.
Shannon Broom says a small scoop of Dukes in your homemade mashed potatoes makes a difference. I'll bet that would.
Oh,
I bet that
be good.
would.
Yeah. All right, so the bacon is done. I went ahead and took it off of the cookie sheet and put it onto
Ooh.
napkins to drain off that grease, that extra grease.
Still nice and thick,
Right.
crispy, but still a little soft in the
Right,
middle.
right. So you saw how big they were. This is how much they shrunk. So set those over there. Okay, so I have 1 cup of mayonnaise and 1 cup of mustard.
Yeah. Hello from the Netherlands, Rensk. Carrots. Carrots, I'm gonna say. Carrots. And
Kurtz, maybe.
yeah. If I'm saying that wrong, forgive me.
Yeah. Okay.
But hello.
Sorry, I need to. Now I need a 1/2 cup of Dijon mustard.
Dijon.
Right. It adds just a different bit of flavor. It's not all yellow mustard. It's got some of this Dijon mustard in there too.
Huh. Tammy Hansen says she knows that soup. She saw a recipe card posted in her grocery store 30 years ago.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, and when I did it a long time ago, like I said, I lost 15 pounds a week.
I dropped.
Carol Curley, is that English or American mustard? Okay, this is plain yellow mustard, which would be probably considered American.
Right.
And the honey Dijon, it's got horseradish in it.
Yeah.
A little bit of horseradish. It's a little sweeter, and it would probably be considered a French, but I'm just guessing on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I like the flavor of it. I like the flavor of it a lot. It just adds a different twist. Yeah, you already answered the question to the peel pound soup.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna start that. It's time. Armed American Patriot. What's the best state for homesteading? Wherever you're at.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Start now.
Right.
Start now. We ended up in Wisconsin, not by accident. We believe that God brought us here. We used to live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we had 1 acre, and we had a cow, we had goats, we had chickens, we had
a mini cow.
A mini cow.
We didn't have a full-size cow.
And we also had 16, 18 fruit trees.
Yes.
And a big old garden.
Great.
And what happened was the zoning changed on us. And so we were using that milk for our daughter Grace, who's got cerebral palsy, and she eats through a G-tube. So she really needs that raw food for her to stay healthy. Because she used to get pneumonia like crazy, like many, many times a year. And when we switched over to raw foods, she didn't get sick anymore. So when the zoning changed, they said, you can't have any of that stuff. And we're like, okay, we're out of here. We're just out of here. And we were approached by a person who lives here, and they said, look, we have another farm, and we don't need this one because we want to live in a different place. What do you think?
Yeah.
That's their honey. And so we came up here and fell in love with it. And I got to tell you what, around here, it's not uncommon for property to be $2,000 an acre.
Yeah.
And there's privacy. Our neighbors, my nearest neighbor is 500 yards away.
Yeah.
The Don.
I'd say so.
The Don, and then our nearest neighbor that way is probably 800 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see anybody over there. There's trees, and then we're right on the edge of a national forest. We're always out going ATVing and stuff.
Yep.
And everybody here is Second Amendment fans, you know.
Yeah.
And it's
Wow.
still very conservative. So, but to answer your question, where's the best place for homesteading? Wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Start now.
It's all in your. Make a list. What are your desires? What are your wants? What are your needs? What are your desires? I guess you could say. What are your goals? Because that's important. You know, depending on what you want to do with your homestead, is where you can be.
Well, here, I was talking when you were putting the honey in. And
I know.
people were asking. So, what did you
looking
put in? As just a pause, funny thing. What we see more often than not is somebody driving by in an ATV.
Right.
And that's just what happened.
Right.
So continue with the honey, I'll shut up.
So I put in 1 cup of honey. So I've put in 1 cup of yellow mustard, 1/2 cup of Dijon mustard, 1 cup of mayonnaise, and 1 cup of honey. So far, that's so far. That's all it is. And when I buy mustard, I try to make sure that it is mostly, natural ingredients. There's no high fructose corn syrup. I know that's in ketchup, not in mustard, but I try to make sure it is as natural as possible. I don't buy organic because a lot of organic stuff is very expensive. So now what I need is I'm going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, ground red pepper, which is also cayenne pepper.
It's so that it gives you a little zip, but it's not going to hurt.
Right. With the mayonnaise and the honey, it kind of calms it down. Just gives you a little bit of zip.
I'm curious, Armed American Patriot, what kind of business are you in? He's saying, I'm sick of owning business.
Yeah.
Just curious, what kind of business?
So now I'm going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. And you know what, I'll be honest with you, I never measure, so I probably add more than, and then 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Because there's a lot of salt already in the vinegars and the mustards and the mayonnaise. You don't need a lot. Now I'm going to whisk this because the honey is kind of crystallized, but it's still runny. It's a raw honey,
Yes. We lightly filter it.
Yes, it's lightly filtered. So,
We don't heat it.
Yeah.
Never.
So there's, pollen and wax in there sometimes.
What's up? Keeping it Dutch? Semper Fi, brother. Yeah.
Sweet. How's it going?
We were honestly just talking about you.
All good things, trust me.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Yes.
No, I'm super excited what's going on.
Yeah, we've been watching your channel grow.
He built a house that is just beautiful.
I know.
It's really
well
great.
done.
So.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna whisk this together.
Whisk. Oh, buddy's perfect. Colleague.
That's funny.
Alrighty.
And you know what, guys? This is done.
Oh my gosh, this chicken is ridiculous. Woods getting away, it's jumping. The Northwoods are God's country. I'll tell you what, guys, if you've ever been up here in the Northwoods, we're on the base of the Northwoods, and it is beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous.
It's you got your farms that are generally flat land, but there's a lot of rolling hills and just gorgeous lakes everywhere.
Yeah.
And people don't understand. The natural resources here are ridiculously abundant.
Yes. There's hunting all year round. All year round.
Yeah.
There's logging that happens here a lot. So there's so many wild foods that grow here that you can harvest all the time.
Well, and you know what? We're big fans of trying to let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Unlike today, which this is completely not medicinal.
No, not in any
No,
way.
this is not. This is medicine for your soul.
Right. This has become a comfort food for me.
Oh, absolutely.
This recipe this dish I love it.
I'm telling you, if you like honey mustard, do this honey mustard, and you will not regret it.
Right.
Yep.
So that made an entire quart of honey mustard dressing. It's actually not really even a dressing. When I say dressing, that's more for a salad.
Yeah.
This is a dip. We dip our chicken tenders in it. We dip pretzels in it. This chicken.
My hand.
Drink it. No, just
Keeping it Dutch. Beehives. We have not since we've been here, but we plan to. But there are some serious challenges because overwintering the bees is really hard. As a matter of fact, we've got a friend who goes to our church that he's even built a separate air-conditioned, climate-controlled building because he's got about 8 hives, and even that, it's still hard to keep the bees alive. It's not uncommon for us. I mean, just a month and a half ago, it was negative 24, and it can stay that way for several days. So I'm planning on doing the bees, but what I want to do is it's funny because if you guys don't know anything about beekeepers love to talk about bees.
Yes, they do.
And they'll seek you out. If you are a beekeeper, somebody's going to find out. They'll know. They just know. When we were at this little festival thing, it was a Memorial Day festival. I saw this guy and he had a bee shirt on. I was like, hey, you're a beekeeper, aren't you? And then we kind of became buds, and he comes over and he's got his bees, and what I'm trying to do is I want to make sure that I'm learning enough to keep them alive, because I don't want to just bring bees here and then kill them.
Right.
Because okay, let me pause and then I'll shut up. I'm not going to talk about food here in a second. When you keep bees, there's a strange thing. I know they're insects, and I know, but there's this weird symbiotic kinship kind of thing going on where I want to protect them. I want to do everything I can to make sure that they're going to do well. And in exchange, I feel like we are okay with borrowing some of the honey. So there you go. Oh, Natalie, thank you.
Oh, Natalie, thank you.
Thank you very much. So now bee talk done.
Right. So there's a question over on Facebook. I'm going to say Ava. She's asking, what are we making? We are making a copycat recipe of the Alice Springs chicken from the Outback restaurant.
Yep.
I have loved this recipe, or loved this dish for so many years. And when we couldn't afford to go there, or there was one too far away, I decided to make it on my own. and tweaked it, and have made up my own, which I feel is better than theirs.
It is.
And I won't even get it there anymore when we go. So,
will you leave
yes.
the recipe? Yes.
Yes, we will put it in the description box. It is also in our cookbook, which there is a link down below the video.
Yeah, if you can't wait, you can get it right away.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, we're actually working on part 2 of the recipe book, the cookbook.
Yep.
Because we realized we cook a ton of stuff that we just didn't even put in there. We're like, why didn't we put that in there?
Right, right. Like the broccoli cheese soup. I can't believe I didn't put that in there.
Yeah, broccoli cheese soup.
Right.
Rock and roll.
Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot to do?
No, I
will
don't.
do this before.
Oh, the bacon.
I gotta cut the bacon.
Don't cut the cheese.
No, I won't do that.
Don't cut the cheese. Cut the bacon.
I need this.
Oh, Inger's here. Hi,
Hi,
Inger.
Inger. And I need these.
I need these, and I need these.
And I need these.
No bees, no food. It's absolutely
You're
that
right.
simple.
Right?
Yep. Well, and I once again, okay, I'm not going to start talking about bees because I can keep talking about bees.
Yes, you can. So I'm just gonna give this a rough chop, just so that there's a, just a big, nice big bite. Like
At least a half inch.
Like this. I love the big bites of bacon on my chicken.
Yep. And let's see.
And we don't need a lot. You just need a little bit for this, chicken thigh.
Alrighty.
We're eating
Any
dinner
questions
early
over there?
I don't think so. No, but thank you all for coming and watching.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Alright, so rough chop now.
Rough chop your bacon. I'm gonna put this back over here.
You think
so
that
that you
chicken's done? Or does
Oh
it
yeah, I'm
need
sure
to
it's
wait?
done. No, I'm sure it's done.
Okay.
It's been in a 400-degree oven for the last 20 minutes, so.
Fab 4
And it's
girl.
halfway
The
cooked
bacon
anyway.
sound effects are awesome.
Oh yeah, aren't they? Oh, so good.
And you know what's funny about that? This particular pig, this one gave us trouble.
This particular pig
It
gave
got
us.
out and ran, and we had to chase it down. We had ATVs
Oh
out.
my gosh, it was
So actually, we have
ridiculous.
even some video. If you haven't seen our new intro video for the channel, there's a quick clip of us chasing that dang pig. It was not fun.
Okay, I'm gonna get this chicken out of the oven.
That pig was a rascal, a
Yeah,
scallywag.
get that.
Ooh, that one.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna leave this over here because that's really hot.
Just like you, baby.
Oh, brother.
Booyah.
Can't take you anywhere.
That little piggy went to market. Sure did.
did.
But I'll tell you what, guys. If you've ever thought about keeping pigs or raising pigs for your own personal use, don't let them get too big.
No.
We made the mistake of thinking, oh, a bigger pig is much better because you got like how big were they?
400 pounds.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Let's just say that it took 5 grown adults 2.5 solid hours to load 3 pigs into a trailer.
Right.
Because when those pigs say, I'm not going into that hole, you are just along for the ride, kids.
Right.
I hit the deck so many times.
Right. Oh, quick question about bees. Mandy's asking, have you found a reasonably priced bee box anywhere?
Yeah, we got our stuff all from that place in Kentucky.
It's Walter T. Kelly.
Walter T. Kelly.
Walter T. Kelly, yeah. And don't they give you a break on if you buy multiples?
Yep.
Yeah.
They sure do. You know what? It's a bummer that we didn't know you when we lived in Ohio, because when we lived in Ohio, we had 20 hives, and we couldn't bring them here, so we gave them away.
Yeah.
People came from all around to come get free hives.
Yeah. Fab 4 girl, does the meat get tougher as it gets bigger? No. Well, at least ours did not.
No, it's just that they're going to manhandle you.
Right.
And what happens is you don't get as much meat, you just get more fat. And
It's
so,
great for lard, but
yeah, the return on your investment, if you let pigs go too big, the return on your investment doesn't work out anymore.
right,
Because you gotta keep feeding them and feeding them and feeding them to get them bigger,
right.
but you're not gonna get the meat aspect percentage-wise out of it.
Right, right. Okay, so we're ready to put this together. It's easy. So we've got our chicken, and you can layer this however you like. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cheese down because the chicken is nice and hot and I want that cheese to melt.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna put a few pieces of bacon on here.
Oh yeah. Look how you mounted it up like a skyline chili.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah.
to be pretty for the picture.
What's the best weight then? Well, that really depends on the breed. However, what we are told for what we had is
250 to 275.
that's the top.
That's the top.
The top.
Right. Now I'm going to put some onions, some grilled onions on here. Just like that.
Just
oh,
like
no,
it is.
don't fall, don't fall.
It looks so pretty. It
I
looks
know,
so pretty.
I know. And then drizzle some honey mustard dressing over the top of that. Just like that. Now, this
You're
is
done.
a great party thing because you can prep it in advance and then put it all together and heat it up in the oven.
I'm trying to not dump it on the floor.
No, don't dump
But
my
you
chicken on
go-
the floor.
Oh, we good? We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. That is our copycat recipe of Alice Springs chicken.
Eat it right now.
Oh, my Lanta is right, Fab 4 girl.
Oh, it's so good.
I wish you could, if smell-o-vision were a thing,
Right.
we need smell-o-vision.
Right.
You know, we've put men on the moon. Our priorities are so backward. We've got men on the moon, yet we can't have smell-o-vision.
I know.
I demand audience with Trump immediately.
I know. This recipe is easy. You saw how easy it was. And it's quick.
Yeah, I mean, even with talking, it's only 40 minutes in.
Right. And you can have a whole huge mound of these. You can grill all of the chicken in advance, stick it in your oven to keep it warm while you're making everything else. And it's just, it's
delightful.
It's stupid good.
It's enough to give a big chubby dude jazz hands, and I don't even care. I'm gonna wave them around like I just don't care.
Right. Tommy's asking, do you eyeball the pig's weight?
Friends of ours are very good at it,
Right.
so we don't have to be.
Right.
But it was, you know, when you're talking about pigs, you kind of know the size. I mean, you can see the size, and actually, there's guides online, so you can look at them.
You can measure their
Yep.
length and girth.
Yep.
I've never had to do that because our pigs don't stand still for anything.
Well,
but
we've done that with the cow too.
you can do that with the cow as
Yep.
well. You get a girth tape. They sell them at farm stores, and you just measure around right underneath their shoulders around that girth, and it gives you an estimate on how much they weigh.
Yes.
But
And for those who are asking for the recipe, we had to change gears right before the show started.
Right.
Instead of doing what we normally do, the recipe would have been here.
Right.
However, when it's over, come back in like 15 minutes and I will put the recipe in the video description.
yeah. So sorry about that. We just had technical difficulties all the way up until quarter till.
And it's still not the greatest video, but we're glad to be here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now I'll go back real quick. We made Alice Springs chicken. It's a copycat from
Just over there too.
right from the
Outback.
Outback restaurant.
Copycat.
I tweaked it. This is our version. I like to put grilled mushrooms and onions on here, not just grilled onions. Oh yeah, no, I know. I'm ready to.
You gotta get a bite, baby.
I know. So this my favorite.
We gotta show them. We gotta show them a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
hmm
Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness gracious.
And I'm telling you guys, the honey mustard is to die for.
Yeah, and like I said again, I'll say it again. We used it for so many different things. Pretzels. Here, you can eat that.
No, I'm a show.
Pretzels, chicken tenders. You know, we make our own chicken tenders. We don't buy those nasty ones from the stores.
Oh my god.
I know. Dinner's ready. But yeah, it's easy. It's easy and it's delicious.
You know what? I thought for sure the chicken was going to be a little bit tougher, just because we kind of grilled it fast. It's super, super tender. That is really good. The bacon, the honey mustard. I mean, you can't go wrong with cheese, guys. Come on up.
No.
So,
It's dinner time.
let's see. Any questions over there?
Not a question, but a comment. Michael Lacey had a pig that got out and ate my whole hot pepper garden.
Oh.
Best tasting pig ever. Seasoned from the inside
Pre-seasoned.
out.
Pre-seasoned.
Oh, too funny.
Yep.
My goodness.
Let's see. I think we're out of questions here. So,
Yeah.
well, that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Come back in about 15 minutes when the video is done processing, and I'll put the recipe up there. And the cookbook
Yep.
You can grab a cookbook, whatever. Be
Okay.
awesome. That'd be so cool.
Okay.
And if you're not in the United States, it's an ebook, so that way you can get it immediately.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, have a great day.
Yeah. Good night.
Good day.
Good
Oh,
day.
I forget we gotta shut it off
Good
over
day.
there.
Oh yeah, you don't shut
We
it
gotta
off.
shut it off
here.
over here.
You gotta click both of them.
I know. We'll stop. So
Have a great day,
goodbye,
everybody.
Facebook people.
Bye,
Goodbye,
Facebook
Facebook people. Okay, end live video. Yes. And then goodbye, YouTube.